Canucks are about to hire the Sedins and Ryan Johnson to lead the front office. Jitti, what do you got to say?
I think it's a smart move by the Canucks organization for once, having co-presidents, having Henrik and Daniel as co-presidents, or I was thinking you can do the classic, have Henrik as the captain of the presidency and then assistant to the president, have Daniel. But no, I like the moves. I think it was Ryan Johnson from the get-go since day one. But I like how they actually did a process and didn't just hire just because of merit, but they actually just took their time with it. And they hired I think universally in the Canuck land is a good hire.
I think that the Sedins are like a PR move by these guys because the Canucks PR is so bad right now. Bring them in, always makes them look good. And then I'm always worried about how the owner
Aquilini.
Yeah, Aquilini will do how he'll do with the Sedins. You know, he just took out Linden 10 years ago. We might be repeating the same thing 10 years later. You know,
well, the reason why Linden left is because he said let's do a rebuild, and Francesco was like no, and then Benning was like I can do this in a couple of years, so that's why Linden left. But you're already in a rebuild, right? So you have guys who are are going to develop the team. So I even think during Johnson's pitch and everything that he's like, this is not going to be like a 2-3 year process. It's going to be a long process for the Canucks to get into the rebuild and then get out of it, right? So I think the Henrik and Daniel are more set up for success than Linden. But regardless, if you're Francesco, you're kind of screwed if this goes bad and you let go of Henrik and Daniel, then you have like three legends of the franchise leaving because of you.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Canucks. What legends are you speaking of here? It's not like Steve Yzerman and Joe Sakic.
And they already were, all three of them are working for the office.
Right. And even if they're not, I mean, what's that really going to change? I'm glad that...
It ruins the fan base. The fan base is definitely not going to be happy.
Oh, come on. The fan base has already been ruined, though, at this point. If they would be, it doesn't matter, though. The tickets are still going to sell for the most part.
Yeah, because there's no other show in town.
Yeah.
Actually, the Whitecaps leave.
Who knows what that? But I was just gonna say, like, it'd be funny if they, just like Sirtaj said, they do the same thing over again with the legends. They bring them in. Henrik Daniel picked their guy to coach, and it just goes all downhill from there. Because Trevor Linden did the same thing. He brought in Willie Desjardins, right? No, what's his name? Yeah, right.
Desjardins.
And then it just went all downhill from there. And then he's like, we gotta rebuild this team. This team's not good enough. And then it just went all to shit because it just that last season was a fluke. The 2015 one where they made the playoffs. They played the Flames, and then they didn't even, you could tell when they played the Flames they didn't even deserve to be in the playoffs. They're getting bullied. They're just Bieksa.
That was on Willie Desjardins, man.
Yeah.
He didn't coach that series at all. He just would he play like 20 minutes a night like Lyndon Vay and all those? He had no idea what he was doing.
You could have put Sedin twins out there for 25, 30 minutes. It would have made a difference. JP, they were like at the end of their tail end of their career.
Right. I see your guys' point though. I agree. That could be what's driving the Sedin's part at least. PR hire here, and that's gonna weather the storm, so to speak, with the fan base. I like Ryan Johnson though. I always liked him as a player. He was just like a hard-nosed player.
And those guys usually end up being a great front office type person too.
Yeah, because they can speak on all levels of right being good.
The other guy that was in the race was Evan Gold, Boston's assistant GM, and a lot of people were saying like he would have been like a huge upgrade in Vancouver too because of the advanced analytics stuff. And apparently the Canucks are so far behind the rest of the league when it comes to advanced analytics. They don't have half the things that other teams do right now. So they're in a tough spot. Ryan Johnson, I feel like he's still young. I think he probably should have like an idea of where to go with that.
Yeah.
You kind of do need the advanced analytics stuff, especially today's game. Like a lot of the top teams, like especially like you look at Carolina, that team's built on that.
Yeah, but the biggest difference is those teams are going for cups. We're just trying to get into like the next phase of this, right? So you don't need analytics at this point.
Yeah.
You don't care about cap. You don't care about these things. You need to get just good development players, right? And the best way to develop it is I think Ryan Johnson over Gold.
Yeah.
At least it's not like they went the opposite direction and got like a brand name guy that might be over the hill, like a Brad Trevelling or like one of those guys. And then because that would have just pushed the Canucks back even 4 to 5 years, right?
Jim Rutherford, like hire another Jim Rutherford, right?
It's kind of like a wait and see though, right? At this point, because we don't know what Ryan Johnson's about. It's new blood. He's got some experience. Jason, you were saying that he coached in managing the AHL.
Yeah.
So there's that, but who knows? I mean, we were pretty excited when Trevor Linden took over and that whole regime. We were kind of lukewarm on Jim Benning, so maybe it's best that we didn't take Boston's second place. Yeah, they're sloppy second, so to speak. I think we're good on Boston on that after what they did to 2011 as well. But yeah, I think that wait and see. I'm optimistic though. I like Ryan.
I think Canucks fans should be optimistic because if you look at their drafts, like they hit on players. It's just the fact that they haven't been able to keep the players that they've hit on, right? Quinn Hughes.
But even building around them has been the biggest
exactly,
issue,
right? Like they haven't done what's necessary. Instead of like like they like to give a basketball example, like they just Boston like Celtics did. They had a bunch of young players, and then they brought in this guy from Tampa Bay that kind of they wanted to expedite their growth, and it kind of led to more disaster than it did anything. Because I feel like if they just kept Bo Horvat, Quinn Hughes, Pedersen, the team would have just gradually came up slowly.
Even before Miller, they brought in Roussel and all these guys to like I guess $3 million contracts. At that time, $3 million is a lot for a bottom six player who's not gonna put up goal points anything like that. I think it was who else? Beagle was there,
and then another one too.
Yeah, I think
Tyler Myers for the longest time, he wasn't worth $6 million.
Yeah, he was not worth that money. Louis Eriksson, they overpaid for him, even though after a 30 goal season, he still didn't deserve $6 million. You look at a team like the Ducks, where they went cheap for a lot of these guys, and their team's looking good in the playoffs now. Like they're a young team, and they timed it perfectly too. A lot of these guys are expiring contracts too. John Carlson's a free agent this year, so you get those guys in and out. You get the playoff experience for young guys properly, instead of being like, yo, let's bring in these guys and surround him with a washed-up talent that's not going to really...
Tyler Myers.
Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunate because like this era that just ended, they did have a pretty good team, but the cap took them out. Like you're alluding to, Sertaj, after that year when they traded for a bunch of guys like Lindholm and stuff like that. Like if the cap was where it's at right now, the Canucks would be doing fine. They'd be able to pay everyone and it'd be okay. Who knows if they even find themselves in a situation. But you got to, as a GM, the cap's like one of the most important things, if not the most important. And like you're saying, you can't be giving out these bad contracts, which the Canucks did time and time again during that era.
Yeah.
And they just took it for granted. They had these young guys on entry-level deals, and they're like, okay, well, we're just going to pay this guy no move clause. A guy who's worth $1.5 million gets $3 million. A defenseman who's worth $4 million, he'll get $6 million.
And then they made it worse by trading those contracts for OEL's massive contract, which is still they bought out like halfway through.
The worst part of that trade is they were all at 1 year left. It's like you could not just
exactly. It didn't make a difference bringing in OEL at all because the team was still like they still didn't know how to play. That was the biggest issue too. Yeah. And then OEL comes in. I think Jim Benning gets fired maybe 5 months into the season, 2 months into the season, something like that. And it was
a December day.
Yeah, it was a December day.
I just feel like there should be optimism, right? But I feel like the one thing Canucks need to do is pick a better captain, because the last two they traded his ass away real quick after some drama.
Horvat should have been captain.
No, he should have been captain, but they still traded. They picked a random over their own captain, the guy that they grew.
They were in office though. I don't think Rutherford and them were in office when Bo became captain.
That was a tough decision too, though, right? Like JT Miller was like a near 100-point player, and you can see why they made that call. And it's not like they're like Bo get to the curb. The cap took out Bo, right? Like if they had the cap, they would have kept him.
They offered him. Yeah. They offered him everything, but then
I think they tried to give him Nugent Hopkins contract. So they were like, you could take $5 million cap hit for the next few years. And Bo was like, what? You're lowballing me.
Yeah. And
then obviously he's gonna leave. He's gonna get $8, $9 million or something like that from Islanders.
And you have like JT with 8 times 8. That's ridiculous.
Made no sense.
You saw which one worked out, which one didn't.
Yeah.
The Bo Horvat one worked out for the Islanders. While JT Miller on
this gold medal. And who knows where it'll be next year. He'll be doing his thing.
He'll be going back to Tampa Bay, trying to maybe get some of the glory back, right?
Yeah, I think the Sedins do have a lot to like go off of, though. At least that's a good thing. Like they've been around the game for how long now, right? And they've seen what's worked and what's not worked for the Canucks, especially. Yeah. And I think they could go off that experience at least and be like, you know what, we'll go this way. We'll rebuild until our team's like solid and we're stocked up and everything.
Pieces after, right? Yeah. Don't worry about like free agency. If you're gonna get free agency, get like those like the Razak's boy, Strome, right? Like one of those like centers who is just he's in like the twilight of their career for a cheap deal. Just let the young guys like play and stuff like that. Just kind of fillers.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, the one thing about Sedins is they've always shown a work ethic. Yeah. And I guess another thing is like they're willing to learn. And unlike Trevor Linden, it's not like they have their hands in like multiple places, right? It's not like they have a Club 16 franchise and real estate endeavors and things like that. I'm not saying that to take a shot at Trevor Linden, but just to say that the Sedins, if they're going to be doing this, they're going to be all in.
Yeah.
And that's another point of optimism for the Canucks. But only in the Canucks, right? The franchise that named Luongo captain and like did all these other sorts of things would be like, okay, we're gonna have co-presidents. I agree with you. If you name the guy captain, just name him president. Like, now you care about Daniel Sedin's feelings after all these years.
GM at that
it's
point.
A brand move. You can't. It's like too late now, right? Like it's to this point. Like this isn't back in the day. This is now. Like people only when you say Sedin twins, they think of both of them.
Daniel's a real one, man. He didn't win the Hart Trophy. He knows what it is.
He knows
right?
He's always used to getting the short end.
He's got to get.
He got concussed like randomly, like for the latter half of his career, every other game for some reason. And Henrik was just skating fine.
He was hitting his plateau. I think he had at least 1 or 2 years being better than Henrik.
Daniel was the man.
Yeah,
But, Duncan Keith said no, thank you. Right?
He even had it after he got concussed too. He had that 30
because you got Kadri and Keith both took him out.
Yeah. Dirty.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for this video. Let us know what you think about the Canucks hiring their new GM and president combination in the comment section below. Like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.